Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Clarice with Benham Reeves Singapore, who will be facilitating our webinar today. Our Regional Director, Doris Tan, and our team have studied this development, and we would now like to share our insights on this very exciting new opportunity as a gateway to invest in East London. She is unable to join us today and would like to extend her warmest welcome to everyone here with us this evening. Without further ado, let me introduce you to our speakers this evening. Kevin Liu with Benham Reeves Singapore will be updating us with the latest East London residential market and the opportunity this area brings for investors. Next, Rob Willis with Barclay Group Singapore will be sharing an exciting new Lombard Square development. Kevin, over to you.
Thank you very much, Clarice. A very good day to everyone joining us today, wherever you may be watching from. So in August earlier this year, we had a very well-attended webinar on how to profit from London property. And today we are following up with our second of the series of introducing new opportunities in London whereby you could profit from it. So even in the lockdown period, the London property market continued to surprise us, as I mentioned in my last webinar. So UK house prices in March this year climbed 6.5% since the first lockdown started over a year ago, marking a first house price rise during an unprecedented time in modern history. While GDP fell by 10% during this pandemic period, the total value of London property increased to £1.8 trillion, which is also a first. Zoopla reports that the UK housing market is on course for its busiest year since the global financial crisis, and more than 1.5 million homes are expected to change hands this year, which is a staggering 45% more than last year in 2020. Now, the HM Land Registry also reports that property values were 10.2% higher in March compared to a year ago, and this is the fastest growth in 14 years. Now, this shows the resilience of the UK housing market.
You got two double. 7.
Now, 25 years ago, Canary Wharf was the gateway of the East, and years later, Canary Wharf is now an established financial hub of London, and it is the second financial center after the City of London. Now, today we are going to focus on East London and what opportunities it will bring for those of you who have yet to invest in London property. Okay, the new gateway of the East consists of the Royal Docks, which is in the borough of Newham and the Royal Borough of Greenwich. Today, further east of Canary Wharf is the third financial centre to be created, and this spans from the borough of Newham to the Royal Borough of Greenwich. Now, these tend to be lesser known areas which have grown to be really exciting and fast-moving regions, having gone through heavy regeneration and improvement. The Royal Docks in East London has been anticipated to generate over 60,000 new jobs and 25,000 new homes. It will also be the new base for the Mayor of London, with London City Hall to be relocated there. Now, the London City Airport is also located in this area, and more travelers are using the airport to travel to Europe and New York. It brings about more activities in the area, which generated a lot of business and revived the entire East London. The Asian Business Park at Royal Docks is a new commercial, retail, and leisure district in East London, offering unique opportunities to global businesses and overseas property buyers. Now, this is a joint venture developed by the Chinese and the British government since its completion of the first phase. Even social media giant TikTok has leased a building at the Asian Business Park. Now, a significant amount of regeneration projects have been going on in this location, meaning higher potential for demand of residential homes, which will ultimately translate into good capital gains from properties in and around these boroughs. Now, some of the successful projects in and around these boroughs are, firstly, Royal Wharf at the Royal Docks. Now, this is a joint venture development by Ballymore and Singapore-based Oxley Holdings some years ago, and they have successfully transformed the Royal Docks in the East into a mixed development with 3,400 homes, offices, and commercial spaces for retail and F&B. The development has been very successful in the rental market, okay, with very good demand from tenants. Now, over 50% of the commercial spaces are already tenanted and enjoying good business from the tenants, or rather the residents on site. The next one would be Royal Arsenal Riverside in Woolwich. Now, this project was the maiden regeneration project in this area some 20 years ago, and those who purchased from day one have seen prices go up as much as 4 times. It was such a successful development in Woolwich, whereby Berkeley Homes, their capability in transforming the entire area, have made it into a really lively and livable area with Crossrail on site, or rather at the site, and many amenities within the development. Now, today, Royal Arsenal Riverside is a highly sought after project, as Berkeley Homes have done such a wonderful job of building a township that has attracted many people to relocate into this area. The first phase, which was launched about 20 years ago, and today the owners are receiving good rental yields as high as 5 to 6%. It has performed so well that our company, Benham Reeves, have opened an office on site to handle the high volume of lettings. Now, this is a very good example of why you should buy into our next project in this area, which is Lombard Square in Plumstead. Next slide, please. Yeah. So as mentioned, Royal Arsenal is now a sought after and established development, and it is right next door to Lombard Square, our up and coming rising star. Now, what makes Lombard Square so attractive? Okay, Lombard Square is located in the Royal Borough of Greenwich. Now, there are only 2 boroughs in London conferred the royal title. One of them is the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, and the other is Royal Borough of Greenwich. Now, Greenwich, as you might know, also has the Royal Observatory, which is home to the historic clock reflecting Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. Now, another landmark to note is the newly opened Woolwich Works, which is a 15,000 square meter project to restore 5 heritage industrial buildings on the Royal Arsenal, creating a new landmark cultural hub with large-scale performance and event spaces, rehearsal studios, spaces for community events, bars, and cafes. The site is also home to a number of local and internationally renowned artistic companies. Okay, Lombard Square is built along Plumstead High Street, where there will be nearby shops focusing on substantial resources from both the public and private sectors to bring about fresh, new positive change in the area. Now, large investments have also been put in to improve the public areas and housing sites, which also includes the traffic, the library, and the leisure center. There are also significant investments in Plumstead High Street, which has trendy and artsy shops, restaurants, cafes, and other retail entities. And lastly, Plumstead Power Station, a listed heritage building with the potential to accommodate a variety of users to contribute to the growing prosperity in Plumstead. So the timing for the launch of Lombard Square could not be better. It is only a 4-minute walk to Plumstead train station, and more importantly, just 10 minutes to Woolwich Station, which will benefit greatly from the upcoming Crossrail, timed perfectly to open at the beginning of next year in 2022. As mentioned, Lombard Square is only a few minutes walk to the already successful scheme Royal Arsenal Riverside. So being the first to buy in Lombard Square, the prices are actually much more attractive than the existing units at Royal Arsenal Riverside. And from this, you can see that you are already buying at a discounted price with a profit already being made upon completion. Next slide, please. Okay, here you can see the price forecast for the next 5 years for property around this area. Savills have projected a 5-year total of 18.7%. And Knight Frank have also projected a growth of 17%. With 1-bedroom units starting at £365,000 and 2 beds from £485,000. These price points are already a reflection of potential gains, as a 1-bed resale at Royal Arsenal and Royal Wharf are asking for £396,000 to £450,000, and 2 beds are around £580,000 to £650,000. Now, this demonstrates that you are already in the profit if you acquire a unit now in Lombard Square. There's already an existing gain of about £85,000, which is estimated at 23%. Which we feel is an opportunity presented in terms of great value. With the price appreciation potential pairing with Royal Arsenal Riverside located just a few minutes away by the exact same developer. Okay, rental-wise in Lombard Square, one beds, as you can see, are projected at 1,400 to 1,500 pounds per month, okay, which brings the rental yield to an estimated 4.1%. Two beds are 1,850 to 1,900 pounds per month, okay, and an estimated 4.5% in rental yield. And lastly, three beds at 2,200 to 2,300 pounds per month at an estimated 4.42% rental yield. Now, the other factors that affect the rent are the unit sizes, floor aspects and views, and of course the level of furnishing as well. Now, these projected good rental yields, along with its potential for capital appreciation, are what make Lombard Square an excellent investment choice. Okay, this truly indicates why East London creates an opportunity for those who wish to invest in a good development by a renowned developer at very attractive prices and high potential capital gains. So you will be first to buy into a new project by Berkeley Homes, where transformation to the area will be created and add value to the property and to the development. You'll also be able to select the best units in the first phase of the best block in the development called Miro Building. To get the best prices offered with great incentives, such as a free furniture pack, you get a 2-year 4% net rental guarantee. Okay, you get 2-year free service charge and ground rent, and of course £1,000 in legal fee contribution. You'll also be the first to participate in Singapore for this worldwide launch project by Berkeley Homes, and also given the opportunity to invest in the London property with the Crossrail nearby at really attractive prices. This is good, especially for first-time buyers. And on that note, right now, I shall hand over the time to Mr. Rob Willis from Berkeley Homes, and he will present in greater detail on the development Lombard Square. Thank you very much. Over to you, Rob.
Great, thank you very much, Kevin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us here today. And my name's Rob. I'm here from the Berkeley Group, and I'm really excited to share with you Lombard Square, a fantastic new regeneration project in East London. Ultimately, Lombard Square is going to be a mixed-use, residential-led regeneration scheme. It will ultimately comprise of 1,750 new homes that is set to revolutionise Plumstead in southeast London, building a community that will bring a new green heart to the area for everyone to enjoy. Conveniently located in Zone 4, Lombard Square is at the edge of the city and at the heart of an exciting regeneration project that will transform the entire area. It has fantastic connections, being right next door to Plumstead Station as well as Woolwich Station, and it also has easy access to Plumstead High Street, where you'll have an abundance of shopping on top of what will be offered at Lombard Square. Ultimately, where it sits is in southeast London, you see to the bottom right, but the connections mean that it can get access into central London in just a matter of minutes. No matter how you want to travel, by air, by train, by car, or by boat, all of these opportunities are available at Lombard Square. First and foremost, we have easy access to the DLR. The DLR is ultimately the lifeblood of East London. This can get you to London City Airport in just 5 minutes. From here, you can fly to all over Europe and even to the US. And as Kevin said, is being used more and more often by Londoners. Further afield, it will also take you to Stratford, where you have the success of the Olympics and many different opportunities on your doorstep there. Of course, the Crossrail opening in Q1, Q2 next year will completely transform the area. This will get you to Canary Wharf in just 7 minutes, Liverpool Street in 14 minutes, Bond Street in 21 minutes, and Heathrow Airport in just 48 minutes, a commute that would take well over an hour and a half on current public transport. Of course, we also then have the National Rail from Plumstead. Here you can get into Greenwich in just 16 minutes, London Bridge in 26 minutes, Waterloo East in 27 minutes, and even all the way to King's Cross in just 40 minutes. So the whole of London is really on your doorstep. There's also new cycle path lanes going to the O2, one of the foremost and most sought after event venues in London. Of course, when investing into regeneration projects, it's important to have opportunities for capital appreciation. Here in Lombard Square and in Plumstead, it has been highlighted as an area for investment from the Royal Borough of Greenwich. This may well have started with Royal Arsenal, where we've invested over £1 billion in rejuvenating the area, but Lombard Square will be a further £700 million. There's also, of course, Woolwich Works, and they have recently signed off £5.2 million to update Plumstead High Street, which is further adding to the growth of the area. Now at Berkeley, we are renowned for placemaking. What that means is we're not just here to build apartments and flats, we're here to create communities. That means we invest in outside space, commercial space, retail, F&B, and ultimately high quality homes. We have done this throughout London, but some great examples of Royal Arsenal, Kidbrooke Village, and Woodbury Down, where we've completely transformed areas, just like we will at Lombard Square. We have seen time and time again across the Berkeley Group portfolio that Berkeley plus regeneration leads to increased price point. The best example I can show of this right now is Royal Arsenal. Of course, it sits next door to Lombard Square, but we ultimately saw capital appreciation of 234% between 2010 and 2020. Now, of course, the London market grew during that time period, but not at a 23.4% growth. And that really underpins and shows the value of regeneration. It adds value to an area faster than normal market conditions. Now, of course, as Kevin was mentioning earlier, over the next 5 years, or between now and 2025, we're expected to see an 18.7% increase in the area. And that's not even taking into account the regeneration part of the development. Furthermore, at the current rental yields, we're looking at 4.2 to 4.7%. That's significantly stronger than you'll be achieving in Zone 1, for example. And also, again, that's at current rental values. Another great benefit on the development is the low service charge, just £3.51 per square foot. This ultimately maximizes your rental income moving forward. Now, I know that Kevin touched on it, and I'd like to just touch a little bit on Royal Arsenal, which, as I mentioned, is a £1 billion regeneration scheme that we've been building for the last 20 years. Here, we have ultimately invested in infrastructure, building the Elizabeth Line and the Elizabeth Line station opening next year. We've built new bars and restaurants, opened up multiple supermarkets and shops, including Marks and Spencer, Tesco, and many independent eateries. We've opened up over 1 kilometre of riverside walkways and cycle paths, and we have ultimately created an extremely successful, thriving community where people want to live, work, and play. This is very much highlighted by the fact that right now we have completed well over 2,500 properties on the development, yet there are less than 15 available to rent. And this is also what we're going to achieve at Lombard Square. So it really is an opportunity moving forward. Furthermore, we've just opened Woolwich Works. This is essentially bringing the West End to the east. Here we're going to have we do have a 450-seat theatre, a 600 capacity outdoor performance space, and 10 rehearsal studios. This makes Woolwich and Plumstead a destination where people want to come and will further increase the appetite for living and working in this area. In terms of Lombard Square itself, it will ultimately comprise of a number of blocks situated around a central garden square and lake. Myro House is ultimately located in a fantastic location on the development, down here highlighted in red. Ultimately, this will have the closest access to Plumstead Station as well as to Woolwich Crossrail Station. So it's always going to be in high demand moving forward from future tenants, but also from future purchasers. The development as a whole will comprise of 1,750 homes. Of course, Berkeley is renowned for the quality of its specification, and this will certainly be implemented here at Lombard Square. will have over 1.8 acres of outside space and public realm, 57,000 square feet of commercial and retail and employment space, a 12-hour concierge, 24-hour security, and also 24-hour automated parcel room, which can collect Amazon deliveries, etc. There'll be an on-site gym with an opt-in option, again, reducing the service charge and maximizing returns from rental investment. And of course, the fantastic transportation links that I've already mentioned. It's also being delivered by a team that you can trust. It's the same management team that have bought us Kidbrooke Village and Royal Arsenal that will be developing Lombard Square, which means you can be certain that the quality and specification and quality of build will be there as we would always expect. We've also worked with BDP architects who have worked on the Royal Albert Hall, Box Park in Croydon, as well as Grand Union. So some very well regarded developments and buildings within the London community. The other major benefit of Lombard Square is that abundance of outside space. Of course, many of us have been locked up in lockdowns over the last 2 years, and people in London are certainly looking for opportunities with outside space. And this level of outside space that we have on offer at Lombard Square is not widely available in central London. We also very much focus on community events, whereby we'll put on events for our residents and our tenants throughout the year and bring the community together that are living on our developments. This ultimately means that people want to stay in the development longer than is the typical amount of time. And of course, what we will deliver on the development, an on-site cafe, secure parking, car charging points to future-proof ourselves against the electrification of cars, and of course the gym, as well as all the additional commercial space as well. And the new cycle, a superhighway connecting Lombard Square, Royal Arsenal and Greenwich together will always mean people will love to commute along the river. Access to education is always key to the success of a major regeneration project. And here at Lombard Square, we'll have exceptional access to world-class education. London School of Economics and Imperial College are just 20 and 34 minutes away from the development, respectively. Not only that, our secondary and primary schools within the vicinity are Ofsted rating either outstanding or good. What this ultimately means is that people will always want to live in these locations for the excellent schooling that is in the area. Of course, accessibility to employment hubs is also extremely important. And here from Lombard Square, we can reach Canary Wharf in just 7 minutes. Canary Wharf is ultimately the financial hub of the UK and Europe, where you've got the likes of HSBC, Barclays, Credit Suisse, and a huge amount of other employers located there. There's currently over 110,000 people working in Canary Wharf on a daily basis, and we can reach there in just 7 minutes. Then you also have the traditional CBD of London, of Liverpool Street and Bank, that can be reached in 14 minutes and 25 minutes respectively. We've got global companies like Deutsche Bank, BlackRock, Bloomberg, Bank of China, and a whole host of other opportunities and a huge workforce. To be reached in just 14 or 25 minutes is fantastic. And then finally, you have London Bridge, direct from Plumstead Station, where you can reach in just 24 minutes. Here you have the likes of EY, PwC, and it's also where the Shard is located, the tallest building in London. So all of these major employers can be reached in under 25 minutes, which is exceptional when you consider the average commute in London is 50 minutes. Of course, there's also the focus of London on the East. It has been earmarked for change, regeneration, and investment for a number of years, and we're really seeing it now take place. Of course, it started with Canary Wharf in the 1980s, which has been a huge success. We then had the Olympics at Stratford in 2012, completely transforming that area of East London. And now we've got the Asian Business Park coming, where 25,000 new homes and 60,000 new jobs are to be created. We've also got the East Bank near Stratford as well, where we're having global museums coming there, such as the V&A and the Smithsonian from New York, including the new University College London campus. And of course, the Mayor of London, to prove his commitment to the East, is also moving their offices to the Royal Docks. So Myro House itself, as I mentioned earlier, is in a fantastic location on the development. Ultimately, it's going to consist of a collection of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments with a limited collection of houses as well. Right now is the first opportunity, first phase, first release to get into this fantastic regeneration project. The homes will have fantastic views over the park or over the landscape gardens. It will also, of course, be built to the highest specification with 2 different color palette choices that you can choose from to have an element of customization of your property. As mentioned earlier, the 1 bedroom start from 367,500, more than £100,000 cheaper than what we're selling Royal Arsenal for at this very moment in time. 2 bedrooms from 485,000 and 3 bedrooms from 580,000. We're also going to see high rental yields, 4.3%, 4.4% respectively. There's also going to be the opportunity to purchase a right to park at 25,000. The tenure is a 265-year lease. And of course, we have that very cheap service charge of just £3.50 per square foot per annum, which will ultimately include your concierge service, building insurance, landscaping, maintenance of communal areas, and staffing on the development as well. Of course, the quality throughout the development will be shown. The entrances to each building will be double height and will look fantastic. And the quality of specification, as I mentioned, will be to the highest standard. Ultimately, these are what we call turnkey properties. So from day one, all your major fixtures and fittings are good to go. Your flooring, your lighting, your heating, your appliances, your bathrooms are fully built in and integrated from day one. Furthermore, we're adding the furniture pack incentive as well. This will mean you'll be ultimately able to rent out the property from the day it completes. And Benham Reeves can market it a few weeks before to ensure we find a tenant for you straight away. So now let's just have a look at a few of the apartment choices and options on the development. The first example here on the right of your screen is a fantastic 545 square foot 1 bedroom. Ultimately, it's got a very square shape, a good sized bedroom and built-in wardrobe, which views over the central gardens of Myro House. For a 2-bedroom example, we have the one on the left-hand side, a great 754 square foot 2-bedroom. Again, good even-sized bedrooms and big living dining area with a huge terrace and balcony. Again, looking over towards the west where you'll receive great sunlight in the evenings. So thank you very much for listening to my presentation. Lombard Square is a fantastic opportunity to really get in at the beginning of a new regeneration scheme. If you do have any questions, please do ask them and reach out to the team at Benham Reeves and set up a meeting for further details. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob. That was very informative. Lombard Square looks fantastic. Wide open garden spaces and accessibility are certainly very attractive in current times, where working from home is a norm whilst being accessible to offices. It's also very compelling to know Berkeley has achieved great success with neighboring development Royal Arsenal Riverside. This sets the tone with Lombard Square. I will now move on to Q&A session. Looks like there's quite a lot of interest on the rental scheme. So Kevin, this is for you. With regards to rental guarantee 4%, who will be assisting with the lettings and management for this development?
Yes, thank you for the question. Good question. Rental guarantee 4% net. So here at Benham Reeves, we will actually be handling the letting and management for this rental guarantee scheme. We have an office, as mentioned, in Woolwich that will take care of renting the apartments. So if you do buy a unit here, don't have to worry about anything. You will be guaranteed a 4% net rental for 2 years. So yeah, to answer the question, we will be Benham Reeves will be handling the letting and management for the rental guarantee.
Great, thank you, Kevin. The next one is also for you. It's regarding rental. How is rental market looking right now in London, especially in this area in East London with the opening up of borders?
So, the rental market has recovered, I would say, and it is booming at the moment. It's really vibrant. it is very healthy now. And the recovery was quicker than expected, I would say, with rentals going back to pre-COVID values, or maybe even higher in certain places and certain regions. So we have 18 letting officers in London, and we are facing huge demand from tenant applicants at the moment, and we are in need of a lot more stock of properties to rent, especially right now with the reopening of schools and offices in London. And with regards to East London, it will also, we believe, will do really well, especially with the opening up of the borders and offices, say in Canary Wharf, and with what we have been seeing in the two developments that I mentioned earlier, Royal Arsenal and Royal Wharf, along the Royal Docks, we are seeing a huge surge in tenant demand at the moment. So, on that note, if you own London property currently and we are not letting them for you at the moment, please get in touch with us as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Follow up from the first question, Mr. Lim is asking, what do you mean by net rental guarantee 4% net? Kevin, this is for you.
So 4% rental guarantee net means you will be getting 4% of the purchase price. Okay, that's guaranteed. So this is after all letting management fees, any running costs. So you're be getting the full 4%. So it's 4% net, not 4% gross.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. So the next question, this is for Rob. Rob, how will Lombard Square benefit from Crossrail?
Sure, I mean, Crossrail will be an absolute game changer for this sort of location, because ultimately being 7 minutes away from Canary Wharf, 15 minutes away from the sort of main CBD of London as well, makes it so much more accessible. And you're going to have so much demand from those locations looking for opportunities for outside space or a slightly bigger apartment, but still not have to lose out in terms of commuting time. Ultimately, once the Crossrail comes, which is in Q1, Q2 next year, although it's located in Zone 4, it will have better accessibility than many Zone 2 locations, more central, certainly south of the river.
Yeah, this will definitely benefit greatly for Lombard Square. Accessibility to offices, as I mentioned earlier, will be a lot more convenient. Now, this is for Kevin. Can you elaborate more on the housing and supply demand in East London area?
Okay, so East London, as many of you who have invested in London or have not but know about London, land parcel is quite limited, and central London zones 1 and 2 have already seen many new builds in the past years, along with all the older developments and properties that are already existing. So, it makes sense for new developments to be built further out. And in the case of East London, I think Canary Wharf is a very good example, that is already, quite, I would say, concentrated with residential properties and developments. That is why many new developments are being built further east into the boroughs of, as I mentioned, Newham and the Royal Borough of Greenwich, with large regeneration projects going on. These areas are being transformed into very desirable and livable places to live in and to work. And also back to what I mentioned earlier about Royal Wharf and Royal Arsenal, these are very good examples of developments that have done really well in this region in East London. So, we believe that with all these new jobs that are being created, and with the amount of people who are moving in, we believe that the demand will always outweigh the supply. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Kevin. So we have another question coming in. Rob, this is for you. So with more people looking for spaces, so Miss Lester is asking, there are houses in the development, she noticed. So she's asking, when will they be launched?
Well, they haven't been launched yet. We'll be launching those probably in the next few months, essentially. Yeah. Typically, houses are more for very much for owner occupiers, and considering that we're still quite a long way away from completion, we thought we'd just delay the start of the release of the houses. But if there is interest, then please do reach out, and we'll see if we can get them released specifically for you.
Great. Thanks, Rob. All right. We are running a little bit short of time. So we do have someone asking about capital growth that was highlighted earlier. So, Kevin, would you like to take this one to elaborate a little bit more about how capital growth opportunity will be for Lombard Square?
Sure. I mean, as mentioned in my presentation, the prices, for Lombard Square they're going to be selling for, comparing to once again, Royal Arsenal, Riverside, and even Royal Wharf, at the prices of those developments. The current prices of those developments, you're actually buying into Lombard Square, which is in the area, in that region, at a much lower price, a more attractive price. So as I mentioned, and I want to elaborate, that you're already seeing a profit, you're already in a profit buying into Lombard Square because of the difference in the prices. And just note, as Rob mentioned, Lombard Square only completes in 2025. So by that time, we believe that you would already have seen substantial appreciation in the development and in the properties. And at that time, after all the regeneration projects and the progress of regeneration and everything has been done, or rather what it would be like in 2025 with Crossrail and everything already up, we believe strongly that you will see good capital appreciation in Lombard Square.
Thank you, Kevin. So there you have it. We have this is an exciting scheme awaits you with Lombard Square. If we missed out on addressing your questions, not to worry, our sales representatives will reach out to you to assist with your questions. We are launching this in Singapore next weekend. It's showing up on the screen now, 20th and 21st November next weekend from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at our Benham Reeves Singapore office. Now, don't miss this exciting opportunity to buy into a first phase regeneration project launched by a renowned developer in East London. Well, should you have any further questions or would like further information about Lombard Square, please reach out to us with the contact shown on the screen. Thank you again for joining us and have a lovely evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.